You are now entering the world of Musings of a Geek podcast network. Stay geeky, my friends.
Coming to you from the Bob Studios, it's the History of Bad Ideas podcast with your host, Jason Brigger and Jeff Now.
Hello, and welcome to episode 43 of the History of Bad Ideas. I am Jeff. Unfortunately, we are without Jason, who is home ill, but we have a very special episode because with us in the studio, we have Dan Zisco from musingsofageek.com.
I feel like when he says very special episode, like it's like an 80s kind of different strokes, like somebody's molesting the neighbor kid and we've got to figure out the problem.
Punky Brewster's caught
exactly,
in
like the very special episode of history. I'm very happy to be here in Ohio.
In Ohio. Yes. And also we have Amy Whalen-Dagger.
Hello.
From
where are you from?
You got there's two other
these podcasts.
They're kind of like both. You do two of them, and it's confusing me now. Outlandish Conversations and Culture Babble.
Yeah. I love that you pulled Meg into Outlandish Conversations. Like
she pulled me.
I love it. It just was like this thing. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, we're doing this Outlander podcast. I'm like, oh, Meg, come in there.
Well, I was like, we should maybe put it on the network because her other podcast isn't a part of the network.
No.
And she was like, oh, I don't know if I should be a part of the network. And I was like, we already are. I already emailed Dan.
Like, I don't understand that because I emailed Meg and I'm like, you guys should totally join the network. And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, why not?
It's because she thinks they're like different subject matter from the rest, which I'm like, if you're a nerd about what you are, like that's what we are.
We just added a sports podcast. I can't remember the last time I threw a ball. Like, everybody's a geek about something. That's the way I look at it.
That's
whatever.
it.
That's so true.
Whatever. And besides, Mindy Project is awesome.
It's so awesome.
Such a good show.
It exists.
Oh.
I love it.
There was, what was it, a couple weeks ago, the episode where Danny had to lie for Mindy, and he was like pretending to be drunk when she was hooking up with the lesbian. It was. Did you see this episode? It was great. Oh, it was great. It was great. I'm like, okay. When you get there, it's amazing.
Okay.
It's amazing. I watch it every week. So
excellent. Well, yeah, speaking of all the podcasts, I see you just keep adding more and more.
I know.
It's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. You know what's really funny? It was you guys started it. You guys started it, and then you're like, and then I think it was like, well, Green Up comes to me like, oh, we got no History of Bad Ideas and Best of the Worst Movie podcast, and then somehow you guys got involved. And then Neil and Annalise showed up. And then all of a sudden there's all these other ones coming on. I'm like, Dark Angels and Pretty Freaks. Oh, great. Keep sending them my way, guys. So it's getting to the point though where I'm like, I'm like, I could do like, a few at work every day or so just to add them up. And now I'm like email after email after email. I'm like, I have a job, guys. Keep sending to me. Don't worry. I mean, keep sending them to me. Like, I'm looking at the microphones like you're there. Like, anyway, how is everyone today?
Oh, I am doing well.
Good.
We had a very exciting drive to get up here.
You did?
People in Columbus are terrible drivers.
Well, we didn't actually even get into Columbus. We're kind of on the outskirts of Columbus.
Well, northern people are terrible drivers.
Is this still northern Ohio?
This is central.
The middle?
Yeah, it's considered
Akron's northern Ohio.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I flew into Cleveland, and that's very definitely northern Ohio. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Why are they terrible drivers?
Because they kept cutting me off and driving super slow. And, well, when I left my house, we were supposed to meet here at 11, and when I left my house, my GPS said I was going to get here at 11:40. And I was like, uh-oh, gotta make up some time.
Oh, hell no.
It's like a race against the clock, and, like, as I'm driving, the number, it's, like, ticking down. It's, like, 11:39, 11:38. And I'm like, I'm doing it. And I got here at 11:06. So
I love that. I love watching your GPS. Like, I'm like, I can make this up. This is not a problem. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still stuck in the dark ages. I don't even have GPS.
Well, you knew how to get here, though.
This is the first time I've been here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've always met Nick like downtown Columbus or whatever when we did stuff. So I've never been to Nick's house.
So you've never been to? So we've never been to Nick's house.
No, this is
who's
the first
not
time
on the podcast.
We're just using his house.
Yeah, he's too embarrassed to be heard.
I told my husband, I was like, I have to go up to Columbus by myself to meet a bunch of guys I met on the internet. I'll see you later.
Oh.
And he was like, is that are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, it'll be totally fine.
Well, we're staying with my mother-in-law's aunt, who's like 84 years old, and she's a lovely woman, but she, what are you doing? I'm going down to Columbus to meet some friends. Oh, you just, you're going to have lunch? Well, we're going to record a podcast. Forget it. You cannot explain to an 84-year-old woman what a podcast is, who barely understands the internet to begin with, and she fully admits it. Right. I don't even know what the internet is, so... Like, all right. Even my mom, she's like, I don't know what you do. I'm like, just, it's fine. You don't. She'll never listen. She'll never listen.
Well, my parents, they're like, you did a podcast? And, like, they want to be excited even though they don't know really what that means. And so they're like, we should listen to it. And I'm like, no, that's okay. You already think I'm weird.
Yeah, please don't listen to my...
I say curse words and stuff.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't even invite my parents to listen. They wouldn't understand even what we're talking about.
No, my mom knows I have a website. That's about it. Yeah. But I don't think she knows what that entails. So,
So, you're in Ohio?
I am.
You had to do the football last night, the high school football?
You know what? No, because yesterday was family day. So we went and saw my father-in-law, because my wife's father lives here. Okay. And then we went and saw her grandfather's sisters, who are all still alive and will never die.
Okay.
So we went there. By the time we got back to Akron proper, it was the game had started. So there was no, although last time there was high school football, because again, my wife's aunt has been like mega volunteer for the last, I don't know how many years. We're talking tens of decades of years at the concession stand. She was there last night. 84-year-old woman doing concessions. She was there last night. And we called her. We were like, hey, do you need help? No, you're fine. Just stay, relax. She bought us a bunch of food. So we sat and watched Shark Tank. It was great.
Oh, Shark Tank's fun. It was great. I didn't realize that the high school football thing was all of Ohio. I thought that was Cincinnati-centric.
No, it's all of Ohio. Apparently, tonight is Beggar's Night. It's like they're doing Halloween in Akron tonight. Oh. So, like, my son, we brought my son. He's, like, a little Robin costume. But the reason for that is apparently because Friday is Halloween.
But it's football.
But it's football night, so we can't, we have to change Halloween for football night, which I even said last night to all the sisters. I'm like, now again, I'm dropping things. Football is football. High school football's big, but, like, San Diego doesn't stop the world for high school football, and I'm like, where is James Vanderbeek? Like, I don't understand. and last time when I came, because again, we were here, God, like, I want to say 2006, 2007. I mean, it was Friday night, get to the field early, get out there, help set up concessions. Dan, you don't have to do concessions, but if you want to watch the game, because, and I care about my fantasy football team, but I don't care about football in general. So I'm like, great, I'll watch high school football.
I'll help the concessions.
So it was no, but I don't want to say luckily, because the Orangemen won. So
yay Orange!
Yay Orangemen! They beat a team that was 0-8. Firestone, I think. I don't know. I mean, it's. I don't know high schools that are in LA. Why would you guys know high schools that are in Akron? So,
but no, it's just. I went to a school that was one of the big football powerhouses in the state.
Really?
And I could care less about it. Or couldn't care less.
Couldn't care less?
Whichever way it is.
It's like how Meg can't barely talk.
I saw that, and I laughed. I laughed so hard.
All right, so we do have some questions from the universe / listener feedback. Are we meshing?
We'll mesh
right now?
You know what's really funny is Des was like, you run the website. It should be Musings. Like, they're the guest on it. I can't travel to Ohio and say you're on my show. It doesn't work. So whatever, listener feedback, questions from the universe, whatever.
So we've got favorite Halloween movie. What's like your go-to Halloween movie?
It's not really a movie, but the one Halloween thing I like is The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
That is a movie,
That's
and
a movie.
love
It's a half-hour TV special. It's not really a movie.
But it's a holiday-themed thing.
Well, I'll go with it then.
I love that.
I'm going to say Addams Family. Or Addams Family Values.
Okay.
Yeah, because...
the second one's better than the first one.
Oddly enough, yes, it really was. So,
that's one we can put in. The sequel is better than the original.
There you go.
Although neither of them were as good as the TV show, but...
Depends on what kind of humor you like, I find. I find the TV show to be very, like... What's Cousin It got into now? Sort of very, and it's in the 60s sort of time period. Whereas the movie's just dark and twisted and very, very... I like the movie a lot. And I have to throw out Hocus Pocus or someone that I'm married to will kill me. So
that was going to be mine.
Hocus Pocus?
Hocus Pocus. Every year I watch it.
That's so do we. Every year. I could recite that movie now. I had never seen it until I met my wife. And I can recite it now.
I'm trying to think if I have ever seen it, other than like bits and pieces of scenes here or there.
It blew my mind when I realized that when the cat turns into a boy, that it's the guy from NCIS.
Oh my god, it totally is, but the voice is different.
Yeah, the voice is different.
The voice is the kid from the Torkelsons, I think. Did you ever watch Torkelsons?
No.
Okay, I don't know who he is. Apparently he's the neighbor boy, did something. And then Thora Birch is randomly in it as a little girl.
I don't know who that is.
Thora Birch, American Beauty.
Nope.
Ghost World.
Ghost World.
She was in Ghost World. The Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Nope.
Oh my god.
That was so bad.
Oh my god, I can't believe you just pulled that out. That is excellent.
The movie's not excellent.
No, but the fact that you pulled it out was just amazing.
I was excited because I kind of liked Thora Birch at that time. I'm like, Dungeons and Dragons, Thora Birch, this is going to be good. And I'm like, what was that monstrosity I just watched?
It was awful. It was awful. Apparently, though, Omri Katz is now a hairdresser in L.A., so if you're in California, you can go to L.A. and try to get an appointment with Omri Katz, who will do your hair for you.
I don't know who that is either.
That's the main kid. That's the guy who plays Max in Hocus Pocus, is Omri Katz. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, he's a hairdresser now. That's what he does. He grew up and did that.
Hey, that works.
So, Annalise wants to know which of us believes in ghosts. You can't raise your hand on the podcast.
I believe in ghosts, Annalise. I do.
I do not. I just can't. There's explanations for everything, whether we know them or not. They're not ghosts.
I just want to believe that there's magic in the world.
It would be fun to believe.
I like
just can't.
superstitions a lot.
Yeah.
And
I even follow some superstitions, even though I don't do them because I believe they're true. Like, I always knock on wood, and I always find wood to knock on, and if I spill salt, I throw it over my shoulder.
Right.
But I don't. I just do them out of habit, I suppose, more than belief.
I don't know, I like it. And my husband believes in things like being haunted, which is weird because he's a super logical person. And so when we were looking for houses, there was one that he wanted that I didn't want him to buy. Like, this was before we were engaged, so, like, he was buying the house and I was kind of helping.
Fair enough.
So I wasn't sure how much of an opinion I was supposed to have. So this house had a door in the basement that was, like, 2 inches thick. It looked like a front door. And it was made of wood, and it had a window in it with a troll, like, peeking over its shoulder. And I was like, oh, okay, you buy this haunted house, that's fine, because that troll comes to life at night.
I'm sure it does.
It definitely did.
We always seem to find the house where there's a cabinet in the basement, or not the basement, but, like, somewhere in the house where they hide the bodies.
Yeah.
Like, there was a house that we looked at close to us, because we just go and look at houses, and it didn't have a basement per se, but it was kind of built into a hill. And sure enough, you can turn the corner, go down some stairs, and there's a cabinet, and it's always open. It's where, like, the water heater is built into the side, and that's where you hide the bodies. And
right.
and Rihanna, same thing. Don't buy the house with the body.
This door led into a room that was all cinder block, painted over gray, with a big faux fireplace at the end, and just a drain in the middle of the room. And that was the only stuff in the room.
Oh, heck no.
Like, well, this is where the children are sacrificed. We should probably leave.
Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah.
So it comes with a murder room.
It came with a murder room, exactly. Which would be handy if I was planning on murdering some people.
Or if you were Dexter.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not.
Kill room. What else we got?
You have any?
Anybody? I'm not finding any.
All right. Meg wants to know what your favorite cookie is.
Chocolate chip.
I feel like everyone's is chocolate chip.
Do we ever have to have this discussion
Well,
again?
yeah, we do, because there's varying degrees of chocolate chip, too.
That's true.
I mean, bad chocolate chip cookies are still bad cookies. Great chocolate chip cookies are great cookies.
I've never had a bad chocolate chip cookie.
I would concur.
Really? Wow. I'm the store-bought cookies that just, no.
Never had a bad chocolate chip cookie. Like, I'll even eat the generic faux Chips Ahoy. I'm like, this is great. Every night, milk and cookies. This is fine. So,
I don't know. My absolute favorite cookie is Potbelly. Has a chocolate chip. They call it a chocolate brownie cookie, and it's fantastic.
Fair
Sounds
enough.
good. I would have to say Snickerdoodles.
Those have cinnamon, right?
Yes.
I do not like cinnamon.
Oh, then you won't like them.
That is true.
All right. I didn't do that, but chocolate chip, man. There's no such thing as bad chocolate chip.
It just sounds, it's the generic cookie. That's what, every cookie, I suppose, that's what you compare everything to.
I guess
because it's
I guess so.
I mean, I worked with a lady who, like, she made the best chocolate chip cookies. So any chocolate chip cookie I had after eating hers was a disappointment. So it's like,
oh, you were ruined early, and then now it's okay.
Well, it wasn't even early. I mean, it was 15 years ago, I suppose, when I had those cookies. But now all chocolate chip cookies don't match up, and it's disappointing.
Fair enough.
All right, that puts us pretty much through the questions we got on the Twitter.
Twitter questions.
At least you guys get questions. I'll put like Amy will be like, "Oh, question from the universe, cool," or like maybe Blake will send me one, but then that's it. Jason, like I never like you guys get questions from people that number one listener Doug, but
secret,
well, that's
secret. That's Jason's brother.
We have learned something today.
Man,
it all
he's
makes
gonna be
sense
mad
now.
that you told everyone.
He probably will be. But
don't get mono. That's what I gotta say. You don't get to be mad if you get mono.
Oh. Well, that was actually going to be the bad idea of the week. At
Don't
the end.
get mono.
Don't get mono. Oh, I suppose we could move on to our Riddle Me This that we made Dan do homework on.
Oh my god. Okay, so no, here's the thing. All right, so here's the thing. Okay, so riddle me this. All right, what was the riddle me this topic? I'm going to throw this back to you so you can announce it.
Okay, well, you guys on your Musings podcast, through whatever discussion you were having,
like, who knows how we even came up with this?
but it was thrown to us that we had to cast the play Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream using X-Men.
Yeah. Yes.
And did you guys do that?
Yes. I didn't do the whole cast. I did all the Athenians, the three main fairies, and Bottom. And that was as far as I got, because I'm not doing the rest of the players, and nobody cares about Peas Bottom and the other stupid little fairy. Nobody cares about those.
This is true.
Yes. The reason I do that is, okay, so, full disclosure, about 5 years ago now, I directed this play.
Okay.
Here was the problem that I had doing this Riddle Me This. I'm like, well, what aspect of the character am I going to focus on when I decide to pick which X? And then I started I'm like, well, this person could be this. Well, Aegis could be this, but I could do... And I don't even think I did Aegis right. Anyway, it got to a point where it's like I'm sitting in my mother-in-law's aunt's kitchen at 6:30 this morning, changing my thing. I'm on the internet. I'm like, well, if this is the rich pretty boy, maybe I could. It was, yes. So
You're spending way too much thought.
exactly. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That is the problem. So, but I did Theseus, Hippolyta, Aegeus, Lysander, Demetrius, Helena, Hermia, Oberon, Titania, Puck, and Bottom.
Oh my god.
All right. Now, considering I really don't know who these characters are, that's the problem I had when I looked at this. I'm like, all right. Yeah, I don't know who they are. Someone's going to need to explain these characters better to me than the Sparks notes I was finding online.
Do you guys know Midsummer Night's Dream?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I read it like a human being. How have you not read A Midsummer Night's Dream? Like, even forcibly in high school.
We had other plays we read. That wasn't one of them.
Wow.
In high school we did Shakespeare we did Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
And Julius Caesar were the two that we did.
Okay.
That was freshman and sophomore year, and then I have done a few Shakespeare shows, so
Right.
I understand.
See, I had to read this 3 times before I got it.
Wow. No.
This is an easy one.
I'm not a I'm not a good Shakespeare
and that's
person.
totally fine. But that's this is one of the easy ones.
Yeah,
so because it's all written in couplets, it's very easy to memorize. When I directed this, we actually didn't make any cuts to it. Now, normally you would cut a shit ton of stuff. Like Hamlet, you cannot do.
Right.
You have to cut most of it out. This, I'm
no, you could go for 8 hours or something.
God, that Kenneth Branagh version of Hamlet, and I'm like, oh my god! Like, you want to everybody out there, you want a good Hamlet? Watch David Tennant's Hamlet. They cut out all the stupid
still have to watch that.
And he is so good in it.
But have you seen Joss Whedon's
Much Ado? Half of it. I saw half of it, and then
you didn't like you turned it off?
It wasn't that I didn't like it. It was like, oh, the kid's up, so I'm going to go get the kid. And then my wife came home, and I'm like, hey, I started watching the Much Ado About Nothing, the Joss Whedon. Why did you watch it without me? All right, well, let's watch it together. And that was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So
I really liked that.
It was pretty good for what it was, I think, at this point. What's her name? Main character chick. What Amy Acker.
Right.
I really liked her. I didn't like, what's his bucket? The other guy.
The guy that did...
who was Wesley.
The one from Buffy.
The one from Buffy. The guy who was Buffy. Alexei Denisov.
Yeah.
His Benedict was a little stiff, I found.
Yeah. And the only thing I've seen him in besides that is Buffy, so I'm like, oh, you're a stuffy British guy. Like,
you ever watch How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah.
He's the annoying, like, super annoying co-anchor.
Oh, I have seen a couple of those
yeah,
episodes.
He's great. And then he's now doing an MTV show called Finding Carter.
So the guy who played
he's on MTV
Sandy
now?
Rivers or whatnot?
Sandy Rivers, yes.
Yeah.
That's Allison Hannigan's husband, isn't
yes.
it? Okay.
Yes. He's on an MTV show called Finding Carter, which is about a girl who was kidnapped as a baby who gets arrested because she's just a kid and she does a prank in New York City. And it turns out that they find her real parents and her entire life was a lie and her real mom's like, and he plays her biological father.
Sounds like an interesting show.
The only reason, again, I know this is because my wife watches MTV. So.
Yeah, I will never find that show because it's on MTV.
Never. No, but yeah, I mean, he was really good in Dollhouse. He played Senator Perrin.
See, I never watched Dollhouse.
I love Dollhouse.
Yeah, I did.
So good.
I tried to get into it, and then it was pretty much canceled before I could, and I went, I don't even want to.
And again, it really was... okay, you're going to find I'm really bad with people's names. What's her name? Dark-haired chick from Buffy.
Elijah Dushku?
Thank you. I don't say she was terrible, but she was not, like, the good part of that show.
Right.
Everyone else was so good in that show that I could deal with Elijah Dushku just non-acting, I guess you'd call it.
That kind of hurts because she's one of my favorites, and when you're saying she's the worst part of the show, that hurts.
But everybody is so good. Like, Reed Diamond is in it for half of the first season, and then stuff happens to him, and... I can't think of the guy's name. I'm awful. Because I usually have everything in front of me. The black guy is really good. I don't know what he's in. Oh, the guy from he's in Dollhouse now. Harry Lennox, he's amazing in it. Olivia, I can't think of her name. She's British. She's awesome. Everybody is so good in except for Elijah Dushku. So
I feel like she has to play a really specific role. Like, she's not the kind of actress that could play anything.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree. She's very good as Faith, and I think that's the role she needs to continue to play.
Right.
She was very good in Bring It On.
She was very good in Bring It On. I like that movie. And it's a good musical.
Honestly, that's where I first know her from, because I didn't watch Buffy when it was first out. And it's like, oh man, you know, the other girl is the best one in this movie. But, oh well. But I like Bring It On. So.
Are you you should do the character introductions, probably.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so this is what we did. So we've got Theseus, who is the king of Athens.
Okay.
And he's just sort of running the show. He's kind of I'm the king, and I've got more important things to do than what's currently going on. And he's brought a problem. The problem that he's brought is that Aegeus, one of his barons, is basically trying to force his daughter Hermia to marry Demetrius. Okay, so you got Aegeus, who's sort of one of the barons. He's sort of a fatherly dude. Brings this problem to the king, Theseus, who's currently getting married to the queen of Amazons, Hippolyta. She's kind of a badass, too. His daughter, Hermia, who is... Everybody loves Hermia. And my friend Joni, who I cast, is going to get really mad, but she's such a bland, boring character. Everybody loves Hermia. And Demetrius, who's this, I don't know, I find him to be this kind of lovable, rich kid, but was kind of promised, Hermia's hand, so on and so forth. Hermia has this best friend, whose name is Helena, who really likes Demetrius. And is like, bitch... You don't even like him. Why does he like you? I like him. Why can't he be with me? Meanwhile, Hermia is in love with this other guy named Lysander. So you got a bunch of kids. And when we did it, we basically did Gossip Girl meets Club Scene. It was awesome. So you've got Lysander, who likes Hermia, Demetrius, who's in love with Hermia, or was promised Hermia, Hermia who likes Lysander, and Helena who likes Demetrius. It's a whole thing. Okay. So the problem is now Aegeus has said, yo, King, Theseus, these kids got to get married. I gave them, I made this happen, and my daughter's being a brat, and blah. And Theseus basically says, yeah, You gotta marry the guy. Sucks to be you. I'm gonna go get married now. See you later. So Lysander and Hermia decide, well, fuck this. We're gonna leave. If we're not in Athens, they can't make us do anything. So they go into the forest and they leave. Demetrius follows them because he's trying to get his broad back, and Helena follows Demetrius because she's in love with him. So now everybody's in the forest. Meanwhile, in the forest, there's a bunch of fairies. Titania, the queen of fairies, basically gets an Indian kid. It's going to be hers. Little Indian. And I think they actually mean, from India. Little Indian changeling boy, she actually calls it. Oberon, the king of fairies, wants the kid for himself. So now we're fighting.
Okay.
Now we're having a thing where Oberon is this just he throws tantrums. He's the king of the fairies, and he throws tantrums, and he basically tells his wife, "You're gonna the queen. You're gonna give me this kid." And the queen's like, "No, because I'm Titania and I'm awesome, and no, and I could pretty much destroy you with my brain." And so that's the thing. So there's a little fight there going on. Oberon has a little manservant, woman servant named Puck. Puck has the very famous monologue at the end of the play. If we shut us up,
Puck's probably the most known character.
Exactly. If we shut us up offended, think about this and all is mended. Blah 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 blah. Very very famous speech at the end of the play. Please tell me I'm still recording. I haven't checked in a while. Oh, good. Okay. So,
all right, say all that again.
Faster. So, stuff happens. Basically, Oberon asks Puck to kind of fuck with Titania and make her fall asleep, it's basically fuck with Titania, I'm gonna make you fall in love with the next thing you see, and the next thing you see is gonna be me, and then you're gonna give me the kid, because you're gonna be in love with me, and it's gonna be great. But Puck messes up. Puck messes up a few different ways. Well, I see I'm going to knock something over. Yeah, and now you understand when Des says I'm the guy with the...
this is with your hands in a really big way.
Yeah, so Puck messes up in a really big way. Puck puts the potion into one of the kids' eyes, who sees the wrong... into Helena's eyes, who then falls in love with Lysander, and then Puck tries to fix it and puts it into Demetrius' eyes, who then falls in love with Helena, and now Hermia is all... out of sorts, and he just keeps messing up, and comedy. Also, while this is going on, a group of players decide they're going to put on a show for the king's nuptials, and the main person, the most famous person of this group is Bottom. He is very full of himself, and he's got this great line where, as the director, I don't remember who the director person is, but he's basically trying to cast a show. He's like, no, I'll play that role too, and I'll play that role, and I can play that role, and I will growl, and I will do this. And it's overacted, and it's brilliant, and he's totally full of himself, and it's great. Puck sees this and transforms him into a donkey, and then puts the potion in Titania's eyes, or it gives it to Titania, who then wakes up and falls in love with Bottom as a donkey.
All right.
Yeah, see, and it's just, and basically it's hijinks. And at the very end of the show, the potion gets put into the right person's eyes. They see who they're supposed to see. All of the kids end up together. Lysander and Hermia and Demetrius and Helena. And everybody wakes up and everyone's like, no, I love this person. I love this person. And the king is happy. He's like, all right, my work here is done. Titania and Oberon have fixed their thing. The players all get back together. They put on a great show. Play. It ends with 3 weddings. It's a comedy. It ends with a wedding. So, but I love Midsummer. I really, really do. It's an easier Shakespeare play, even though that just sounded really complicated.
Super complicated.
And that's the easy one. Let's go.
But, and again, I'm like, when you guys said, this is what we're going to do for Riddle Me This, I went, I wasn't serious.
This is a terrible idea.
I wasn't serious.
This is not going to go well.
Oh, you challenged me, I take it serious.
Challenge accepted. Well, and that was the thing, because I remember the conversation, and I'm like, no, Marvel Universe. And again, Des, no, X-Men. Why?
If you
Why
want
does it have to be X-Men?
If you want to expand it to the Marvel Universe, we can.
No, I did X-Men.
So are you doing X-Men?
I did X-Men.
Is this a Riddle Me This usually anybody?
Riddle Me This, usually draft day is anybody. Riddle Me This, usually it's one thing put into another.
If you open up fine, I did X-Men. So this is the X-Men version of Riddle Me This here.
Yeah. Okay.
And the Riddle Me This is kind of we agree on. Right. Which would probably be what Dan picks, because...
Oh, God, see, that's a lot of...
Oh, I'll I'll argue. Don't worry.
Meanwhile, I mean, and I'm going to actually throw this out back to Desmond. Desmond, I know you're going to argue with me on this and disagree. I want to hear your pick. If you're going to throw this out, you get to pick next.
I feel like if you didn't travel to Ohio, you don't get an opinion.
Yeah. William will never have any idea what's going on. So,
does he know the play or the X-Men?
No, he might know the play. He might know some of. I think he knows Wolverine.
Okay,
he's like the worst nerd ever. I love that guy, but he's an awful nerd. So, all right, what do we got?
All right, Theseus.
That one was easy for me. Cyclops.
Oh, I was thinking, what's his name? Professor X.
See,
I'm thinking that too.
And Rhiannon was like, it should be Professor X, but then she's like, then she told me I should cast Liev Schreiber as one of them, and I'm like, you just like Liev Schreiber. That was a horrible movie, and Sabretooth isn't even. Do you even know who Sabretooth is? No. I'm like, okay.
So why Cyclops?
Only because
he's a douche.
Well, not even that. Like, for me, Theseus, like, Professor X, I always kind of, like, if we were doing Lear, I might put him as that. But, like, Theseus just, he's got these great lines of, like, he's a man of action, he wants to do things, but he's also kind of in charge, and he's got some hard decisions to make. And so I just think Cyclops for that. Plus, Theseus was kind of a warrior king. So I kind of thought Cyclops for.
Sounds like a good argument. I can't say you're wrong.
I will defer, but that.
And this is my problem, because I'm like, well, do I want to go with, like, the wise king part, or do I want to do the warrior part, or, like, how are we going to play this? So,
well, the right Cyclops is both. He's kind of terrible now if you read the comics.
Well, and if you want the semi-star-crossed lovers, Cyclops and that really intense chick would work for those characters.
Yeah, well, and we'll actually get to that. And interestingly enough, traditionally when you do this show, you cast Theseus and Hippolyta with the same actors as you do Oberon and Titania, because it sort of brings in the mirror that the fairy world is very close to the real world, and the lovers kind of go in and out. Yeah. So I didn't do that this way, but you could. You could. So that's what I picked. I picked Cyclops, and that's what I've got.
All right, I can get behind that.
Cyclops is our Theseus.
All right. What else we got? Who's next?
Hermia or
all right, Hermia. I did Rogue. Because Hermia tends to be a metaphor for. Okay. Everybody loves Hermia. Here's the thing: is everybody loves Hermia, but nobody can get Hermia really. Like she's just sort of this object of desire.
But you can't touch her.
I picked Rogue for that. And that was the thing.
I think that works. Yeah.
I was just like, and I was reading somewhere, because I'm like, all right, I need a list of X-Men. And wherever I was reading put that Rogue was a metaphor for sexual angst. And I'm like, okay, I could see that. And I could see Hermia sort of doing that. Works for me. All right, so that's kind of where I got with Hermia.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same thing.
There you go.
And so if Rogue is Hermia, then the Iceman should be one of the guys.
I put Bobby Drake as Puck. Because the old school Bobby Drake Iceman was sort of like
Joker.
It was a Joker. It was the class clown, and so.
Oh, I thought we were automatically putting Wolverine as Puck because that's what started this whole thing. Because you're like, it would be so awful.
I tried. I'm like, God, I could put Wolverine as Puck, but that would be hilarious.
he would screw up every line imaginable.
Because I don't see Wolverine as like having the patience to like, I'm going to put the potion in your eyes. He's just going to stab somebody and move on with life.
I'll stab you in the eyes. Try to love now. Like, that would
right.
Be...
Like, I don't.
And well, that's the thing is, I know you're taking it from the movies. Because, yeah, that's what I'm saying. In the books, Rogue's number one love interest is probably Gambit.
Oh, really?
Really, truly.
Yeah.
See, I don't know that character at all because they haven't put him in a movie yet.
Yeah.
Well, he was in one movie.
He was in one movie.
The worst movie. X-Men
really
Origins Wolverine
character in the movie.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh, okay.
But in the book, the Rogue Gambit, it's kind of an epic sort of love story. Like they're really, because he changes energy and she sucks energy, and so it's this weird thing.
So do you think that it could be?
And he's a player but can't touch her.
Yeah.
So you've got Rogue Gambit and then Ice Guy and girl that goes through walls, that could be like your foursome.
Well, the lovers that I picked, I mean, again, I don't care. I was trying to figure this out. Okay, so Demetrius I put as Colossus only because Demetrius is just kind of
boring.
He's just like unhappy all the time, and Colossus is kind of unhappy all the time.
He's the stoic guy who...
For Helena, Helena's got these great monologues. Helena makes things happen for herself. She chases Demetrius into the forest. She throws down with Hermia at one point when, like, shit starts going wrong, and Helena's just like, oh no, bitch, we're best friends, but no. Kitty Pryde.
I was thinking that.
See?
Is that the one that goes through walls?
That's the one that goes through walls.
Kitty Pryde, yeah.
And also the love interest with Colossus throughout the...
Kitty Pryde, yeah. And then for Lysander, who is just kind of like dopey, rich guy, Angel. Like, we're going old school now. Like, because same kind of thing. I mean, that's... if I'm remembering correctly. That's what I picked. Again, whatever you guys want, but this is kind of my thing.
Oh, well, yeah, that's like I said, I don't know these characters in Midsummer Night's Dream all that well.
This is such a very specific kind of nerdy that we're talking about.
It is.
Now.
It's theater nerdy and comic book nerdy, and I'm like,
and you're the one in between. Like, she knows the theater part, I know the comic book part, and we're trying to bump them into you.
My friend Karina and Brian could probably do this too. Just because Brian's a weird guy. Brian's got a bachelor's degree in mathematics, a master's degree in musical theater, and he does tech support, computer science for a living. Like, he's such a weird mix of things, which makes him so interesting. So,
and I really like his sweating the small stuff.
I told him that. I heard it when you said that on the a few episodes ago. I'm like, hey, people listen and they like you.
I am one. I really enjoy that one.
We're gonna do one on acting theory, I think, and like story, like script analysis.
Yeah, you mentioned that early, and
I think that's coming up next. And again, I just mentioned my friend Karina will be on that one as well.
Okay,
she's brilliant, just like you. She's just brilliant, just like comes up with brilliant things. So, all right, moving on. To finish off the Athenians, I did Storm as Hippolyta.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah, Storm as Hippolyta, same kind of thing. Queen of the Amazons sort of thing. And then I grabbed. Aegis was hard. I picked Banshee. For no really rhyme or reason.
To fit him in.
I
didn't quite get any personality out of Aegis.
There really isn't one, so I just picked Banshee. For me, to finish off the fairies, Oberon, this is where I threw Gambit. Because he's just the way I've always read Gambit is just like, he just kind of walks through a room and kind of just takes it over. Like, he's just Gambit.
Full of swag.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Exactly. But I have a feeling that if he wanted something and someone told him no, he'd throw a little tantrum. Like, he's a kind of bad boy,
Oh, yeah. He has to have his way. And, yeah, he takes center stage anytime he's there. It's like, hey, look at me, I'm over here.
Yeah, our Oberon,
you love me.
We had him dressed in, a mesh black shirt with, leather pants. Boots and this long Matrix style pleather vinyl jacket. Oh god, it was great. This guy named Nick, and he just walked on stage and just. I'm like, you get to be in my show.
So he was already wearing Gambit's coat anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. And maybe that's what I was like. He's gotta have a coat. It was amazing. Titania, Jean Grey, only because I can kill you with my brain. It was I can kill you with my brain aspect that I'm like... And again, I was talking to Rihanna about this last night. She's like, yeah, get Jean Grey. I'm like, you don't know anything about Phoenix except for what you saw in X2. But okay. Totally fine.
Well, and I feel like they've got the same sort of, really intense energy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. They absolutely have the same really intense energy, which I like.
Well, that's the thing. I think the movies did justice to Jean Grey for the most part. So the people who know her from the movies pretty much know what she's about in the book.
I agree. Now, yeah, I didn't see Days of Future Past.
Okay.
I didn't see it yet. Now, I'm told they've rebooted the X-Men movie universe.
Pretty much.
Okay. Which makes me wonder how they're going to reintroduce the Cyclops, the Jean Grey, all of those characters again.
Isn't that supposed to happen in the next one?
Well, at the very end, they kind of go to probably about somewhere after X2, maybe.
Okay.
Wolverine is walking through the hall, and Cyclops is still alive, and him. So it's like everything is probably about the time point where X2 took place.
They basically got rid of X3.
They pretty much got rid of X3.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
so
X2, I'm not sure, but definitely it's something that would have taken place after the first X-Men because they all know who Wolverine is already.
Yeah. Okay.
I dislike the resetting of the timeline.
Really?
Yeah, I hate that. Just as like a general idea. I'm like, if you can't write well enough to just keep moving your story forward, you get to stop altogether and write a different story. You don't get to pretend you didn't do all that shitty stuff 5 minutes ago.
See, well, I think one of the reasons that I'm okay with it is because when Marvel created their cinematic universe and they were successful with it, everyone went, "We can do that too!" And whoever, Fox, looked at X-Men and went, "We have a mess.
Yeah,
Right.
We can't create a cinematic universe off of what we did, so we have to figure out a way to reboot." Maybe better would have gone the James Bond route, where you just
start over.
You just start
Yeah,
over.
like I think that would have been better than trying to say all that stuff didn't happen.
Yeah, but they've got Hugh Jackman. They can use Hugh Jackman.
He's
But like, how
got
much longer
2 or 3
can
more.
he actually play that role?
At least 2, maybe 3 movies he's signed on to.
I mean, is the man ageless?
I don't know. I like him as Jean Valjean.
I feel like if anyone was ageless, it would be him.
Fair enough.
Yeah, well,
Fair enough. He looks the same as he did. Like we watched,
really
the
does.
original X-Men was on TV, and I'm like, you haven't aged.
No, he
you
really
literally
hasn't.
haven't aged at all.
good,
So.
good makeup.
Must be. And then I finally ended with Bottom, only because this character you can pretty much do anything with if you have a good actor. Deadpool. Like, if any actor is going to realize he's in a play within a play within a play, it's going to be Bottom.
The guy who breaks the fourth wall.
Exactly. So I'm like, you kind of gotta have this be Deadpool. I mean, who's not really an X-Men is... Deadpool's amazing.
I know. I don't know.
Okay, so Deadpool was Ryan Reynolds.
Aren't they making a... Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was basically the Ryan Reynolds
Oh.
character in that movie becomes Deadpool. Deadpool's insane.
Are they going to keep having it be Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
Yeah, he signed on to do it.
Yeah. Basically, Deadpool is so insane he understands he's a character in a comic book. It's the strangest thing
Weird.
ever.
He talks.
kinda like
He
that.
talks to the readers.
Yeah.
And did you see the clip? They a couple years ago they did a clip to try and maybe get funding or convince people to do it, where he's sitting there talking to the camera and then goes, "Oh, I gotta go," and then goes and does this little action scene where he kills a bunch of people.
I did not see that.
Oh, we'll have to find that for you.
It's on YouTube.
We'll have to look
Yeah, it's
that
on
up.
YouTube.
It's on YouTube. It looked right, and for whatever reason, it worked.
And, well,
they got the funding.
They got the character right. Unlike, well, I don't know. You didn't see X-Men Origins Wolverine where that character is in it, but they screwed him up at the end.
Yeah.
Whatever they did to him.
The whole Weapon X thing was...
Whatever they made him, I'm like, okay, they sewed his mouth shut, and his moniker is the Merc with a mouth. I mean, that's all he does is talk the whole time. He talks more than Spider-Man, which if that's possible.
Which I thought the Amazing Spider-Man did a better job of than the original Tobey
Than the
Maguire movies.
Sam
It
Raimi's,
was really... At least the first one. Like, Andrew Garfield had his little quips, and I'm like, this is... we talked about this. It's a Ditko Spider-Man. It's really the right way to do that.
I agree. I thought at least Garfield as Peter Parker was better than
Completely.
Maguire. The other stuff in the movies, give or take, maybe not. But I did like Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And what's her name is very beautiful. So,
Oh, yeah, she
Emma
can be in
Stone.
anything.
Stone,
Emma
I
Stone is
love her.
gorgeous.
Emma Stone's allowed to be in anything and everything.
Emma Stone almost convinced me to watch another shitty Spider-Man movie.
No, I still have yet to see the second
Wait,
one, so I'm a
so
little
have we
behind.
done Puck yet?
Yeah, Deadpool.
No,
you said
Bottom.
Oh, no.
Puck, you wanted Iceman as Puck.
Iceman is Puck. Iceman
I
is
feel
Puck.
like Magneto would be a cool Puck.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. Oh my god, I want to see that immediately.
Well, now that you mentioned that, I was kind of thinking, and she won't know the reference, but Mr. Sinister. Because he's
Another
the one messing with
I want to
everybody.
see. Oh my god, both of those are much better than what I had.
That's what Riddle Me This is for.
Yeah.
Both of those are much better than I had. We had this girl named Carol who played Puck, who just wowed me in her audition, and she was so adorable. She was like that tall. For those of you who are obviously at home not watching me, she's about like 5 feet tall, full of energy. I'm like, you're adorable, and you absolutely need to play Puck. And when you walk, when the guy who's playing Oberon walks on in this like mesh and this jacket, and she's just like bouncing around, I'm like, this is the cutest thing ever. She's like your bratty little sister, and I love it. So,
but
Magneto, my God.
Yeah, I vote Magneto.
Oh, I'm going to vote Magneto on that only because how epically awesome would that be?
I think it'd be fantastic.
All right. Fuck you, Magneto. That would be.
And, I would actually throw this back to Arkham Social Hour if they ever recorded an episode ever again.
Where have they been?
Yeah.
I like their show.
I know. They're all Dez, Brandon, I don't know if Brandon's at San Diego State, but Dez and Gwen are both at San Diego State right now. Dez is finishing up his senior year. I don't know why they haven't gotten together. I know Gwen is always at his house because his roommate is her boyfriend. So I'm like, she's always there. Put a microphone out. Brandon's cool, but yeah. So if you guys ever record an episode again, I'm throwing this back to you.
I wonder if they're ever going to get sick of the fact that every time I play a new board game, I tweet them, and I'm like, I played a board game! You guys! I know you play board games, too. You want to be friends?
It's adorable. So that was my answer to Riddle Me This that I spent way too much time thinking about.
Yeah, you did.
That went better than I thought it would when I heard what we were doing.
Storm here. Yeah. All right. Should we recap here?
Sure.
Yeah, read them off.
Well, we're going Theseus the Cyclops. You convinced me on that. I'm not going to argue. And then, everything else was almost all your picks. So, although I was agreeing with Rogue as Hermina or Hermia. I'm trying to throw an N in there for some reason.
Because of Hermione.
Yeah, that's probably it. and the boring Stoic Colossus is the boring Stoic Demetrius. The Kitty Pryde is Helena.
Yeah.
And Angel is Lysander.
Yeah, you can do that.
I can't argue that at all. Storm is Hippolyta because she's just the queen.
Yeah.
And because for no reason, Aegeus is Banshee.
Yeah, for literally no reason. Like it was that or Beast. I couldn't decide.
We'll make it Nightcrawler. No, just because. No.
Getting off the plane, my voice has not been all just flying, and so I'm talking and nothing's coming out. Yeah, and the Ebola.
Not good.
My mother-in-law's cousin teaches at the school that they shut down because the kids, one of the kids at the school's mom was Amber Vincent's bridesmaid. I'm like, that's
insane.
This is getting silly.
I know. That was ridiculous.
So,
although I am pretty sure I have it.
Who said they had Ebola of the wrist? Oh, my father-in-law said he had Ebola of the wrist yesterday. That's what it was.
That's fantastic.
All right. Continuing on in the fairy world, we have Titania, played by Jean Grey, Oberon as Gambit, Magneto being Puck.
There's something fascinating about that pick. I don't know. I like it.
And Deadpool is Bottom.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
And I'm just imagining, from what I know of Puck, obviously the one character that I know something about from the play, and I'm just seeing Ian McKellen doing it.
Exactly. I really want to see Ian McKellen do that last poem, that last monologue, in his Ian McKellen way. If we shadows have offended. I'm just like, yes, please do that. Please.
I found this playlist online of British guys reading poetry, and it's the best thing ever. I listen to it instead of Pandora.
All right.
It's actors though, Tom Hiddleston has a bunch, Benedict Cumberbatch has a bunch. I guess they record audiobooks and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize.
Yeah.
And now I want to buy them all.
Well, if you were Benedict Cumberbatch or Tom Hiddleston, wouldn't you? I mean, they've got voices for that.
It's, yes, Shakespeare's written in English. But when you hear Shakespeare done well from someone from the UK, it is epic. Mm-hmm. It is so good. Because it's written for that accent. I mean, kind of. The accent wasn't exactly the same. But it's written for that, not our harsh American.
Yeah. Not that New York accent. I'm just...
Let's hear Boston do Shakespeare.
Oh, I've heard it.
Yeah?
Some good, some bad. But yeah, it's really fun when they're from the South, and you're like, the way you say it, the words don't even rhyme. Now, I know they're not supposed to rhyme, but if it's a rhyming couplet, they are.
I never even thought of that. Mix them together.
Yeah.
You get somebody from the South talking to somebody from Boston doing Shakespeare.
They say Cincinnati is accentless. That we're like the most even. Yeah.
You're the quintessential American accent.
Yeah.
Well,
I've read that.
I've heard that from people from Cincinnati, so I'm not sure if they say it elsewhere.
If they actually say it outside of Cincinnati.
But I mean, I know that, like the Midwest that we fall under, and because I suppose, we don't have the South, but we also don't have that, like, Michigan or Chicago accent either, so
I don't know if we have accents.
I don't hear
any from... I don't think you do, really.
I don't. Are
you from California?
No, I'm from New Jersey originally, but I moved when I was really young, and my mom still has her back east accent. And I remember when we moved, my mom and dad both, their whole thing was everyone here has an accent. But now that I've grown up, I'm like, no, you have the accent. So...
Well, it's the actors and your newscasters try to get rid of all that, and I suppose Southern California, especially being the acting place of the world,
fair enough.
They try to get the most in between of everything. So.
Acting, yes. I can't act. I mean, I can, but I just hate doing it. So I don't think I'm very good at it.
It's time for another installment of the News of the Geek.
That was excellent.
That was really good.
That was really good.
Voice.
That is a good radio voice.
It's supposed to be that old-timey feel.
Yeah, it totally is.
I'm in.
It reminds me of the radio announcer in Up, the movie Up.
I'm not remembering the radio announcer.
Isn't there like the TV when they're announcing the hero?
So basically like Disneyland, or you guys probably go to Walt Disney World more than you've been to Disneyland, but it's like that kind of Disney sort of. You go on like the Indiana Jones ride, and they have like a reel-to-reel about things. Yeah. And now Dr. Jones is going into the pyramid, and it's that sort of
exactly.
The 30s newsreel, I suppose.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about the Age of Ultron trailer.
Holy crap! I do know about this. I saw this.
We all know this.
Let's talk about the Age of Ultron trailer.
Holy crap! All right.
I watched it.
What'd you think?
I liked it.
I'm
curious. It seems like they're going dark. I hate when they go dark. Don't go dark. Just be... I wonder if they did that for the trailer, or if the whole movie is going to have, like, a sadder, more, like, sinister feel to it. Batman Marvel movies.
I'm almost positive it will, just because Ultron is the villain.
Yes.
And Ultron is one of the darkest villains in the Marvel universe.
Yes. Okay... If I'm writing the story, now again, I'm not the end-all, be-all writer. I'm not the guy who sees the threads. But if I'm writing this, all right, Ultron dark. Tony accidentally creates Ultron, which didn't happen in the comics, but it looks like that's what's going on in the movies. Tony accidentally creates Ultron. Drama. Tony's feeling bad about himself. Dark, very dark. Lots of death, doom, and donuts. Tony's feeling bad about himself. The U.S. government is all pissed off now at the Iron Man thing. They decide to do the superhero registration. We get into Civil War, which is why we have Tony Stark in Cap 3.
X-Men movie about that?
Yeah, but it's not Civil War. So...
when Civil War, the storyline in the comic books first started, I'm like, wow, they're just making it, instead of the mutant registration, it's the superhero registration.
Exactly.
But the difference in Civil War was the heroes take different sides of the argument. Yeah. As opposed to, it's completely bad. There's nothing good about it. Mutants, blah, 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 and X-Men. With this one, it's like Cap saying, well, no, it's bad. And Tony saying, no, actually, we need to be responsible for what we're doing.
And if it goes in this direction, it gives movie Tony Stark a reason to join up with the U.S. government, which would definitely then put him at odds with Captain America, who's very much like, no, this is not what America's about, especially after the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that jazz, what we saw in Cap 2, which really makes those things at odds, which I could see them doing.
So I think if anyone, in my mind, if anyone can pull off the balance between dark story and funny moments, it's Joss Whedon.
Oh, yeah, completely.
So in that way, I'm definitely going to go see it. I'm definitely excited about it. I just hope they don't go too far.
Like, too dark?
Yeah.
You want some more of the light?
I hate the Christopher Nolan Batmans.
Shoot guest on our show wants to disparaging Christopher Nolan and
My
Batman.
favorite iteration of Batman ever is in the Lego movie.
And they're making a Lego Batman.
Everything is awesome!
I heard you guys talk about that. I'm not sure that Lego Batman should have his own whole movie.
But Lego Batman in the Lego movie was pretty epically awesome. Yes.
I just say I think that's Will Arnett's best role ever.
I agree. Oh my God, hands down.
Yeah. But what I really want to see is Hugh Jackman as Wolverine playing Batman.
Riddle me this.
Oh,
Cast
boy.
the DC Marvel Cinematic Universe using X-Men. Go. I could see that. I could totally see that happening. I just, and James Spader, I think, is really going to bring something really cool to the role because he's already a little robotic.
Yeah.
We saw him at Comic-Con on the Blacklist panel, and he very sort of leaning back, nodding his head, very and we're like, you are Red Reddington, number one, and number two, that voice I think for Ultron will be a really good fit.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited.
And they announced that Wonder Woman is getting her own movie,
Yes, they did.
which to me that makes me say, why doesn't Black Widow already have her own movie? If Wonder Woman hasn't even been in a movie yet and she already gets her own, how does Black Widow not have a movie yet?
Well, put it this: Wonder Woman is a bigger iconic character in the entire comic book universe.
Well, I guess
Then Black Widow.
I guess my question for you is twofold. Does this represent DC kind of scoring a point in their little battle, cinematic universe battle? And did Marvel waste a huge opportunity in not getting one out first?
I think Marvel wasted an opportunity, and I don't know the comic books, so does Black Widow have a story that could be its own standalone major motion picture?
Somewhere in there they have one.
I'm sure. And Natasha Romanoff's an interesting character.
She is.
I mean,
but she's always still been a secondary, minor character in the general overall thing of what's going on in the Avengers.
And Scarlett Johansson is at the point where she makes money just for being Scarlett Johansson.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how much could they really lose if they gave her own movie?
And if it was done, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy made money. That's your hard one. That's your hard movie. So if you can make money with Guardians of the Galaxy, you can make money with a Black Widow movie. And we know that it's not like you got to put Wonder Woman out there and people are like, well, I don't know what a Wonder Woman movie looks like. We know what a Widow movie will look like because we've seen her in all of these other Marvel films.
That is correct.
So
and honestly, they keep setting up. I want to see the Hawkeye Black Widow past, go back and show us a prequel to what happened. Show us where she got all that red in her ledger and what happened in Bolivia, was it, or whatever they referred to?
Yeah, in Avengers,
Budapest.
I think. Yeah, Budapest.
Show us what happened in Budapest. Give us that movie. Yeah, I agree.
Which I'm not sure whether or not I should be excited about a Wonder Woman movie from a, female superhero headlining a movie, because we haven't seen what they're going to do with her yet.
Yeah, we won't see that
how
about
she's
Superman.
going to be.
Yeah. But they're targeting female directors, which, again, I can't decide if that's awesome, because we need more female directors, or are we just we're making a woman movie with a woman director, all of you females, come see this. Well, is it a good movie?
Right.
You're not going to, just because it's a female-driven character with a female-driven director, and it's from a female perspective, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the girls. You've got to still put out a good product.
Yeah. It's like Binders Full of Women.
Binders Full of Women.
Binders full
Yes!
I got binders and binders.
It's like Republicans. You can get women voters if you put out a good product. You can't just talk about how awesome you are for women. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Same thing with DC. You can't do it. So.
And what direction will the Wonder Woman movie take? Obviously, we don't know.
Yeah.
Because it is a tough character to kind of nail down exactly how you want to go. Because the part I always liked about the Wonder Woman was the whole related to the Greek mythology stuff and that background. And I have a feeling that's not going to be anywhere close to what's in the movie. It's all going to be Washington, D.C., modern time stuff. And so I'm not sure how excited I'll be about the movie because I'm not sure what Wonder Woman we're going to get.
Well, and I think that's a problem as well because there's so many facets to Wonder Woman. There is the Greek mythology. There is the Washington. There is the woman in a man's world that Linda Carter did. And you can't put all of that in a movie because if you do, it's a jumbled mess. But if you don't put some of that into the movie, it's not Wonder Woman.
Right.
So what do you do? I do not envy that director or that screenwriter. I really, really don't. So here's hoping because I would like to see one.
Yeah.
I don't know what else is going on. I've really been sort of...
Well, this was something I was just wondering people's opinions on. I know Jason threw something up on our Facebook page the other day.
Okay.
About, I don't know if you heard the whole Aaron Paul going off about at Toys R Us.
No.
Apparently there was a mother
Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad?
Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
All right.
There was a mother in Florida who saw that Toys R Us was selling... Yeah, everything happens in Florida. Toys R Us was selling Breaking Bad action figures or whatnot. She got on the website for petitions or whatever,
Change.org.
And got like...
At least it wasn't 1 million moms.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, guys. If we have any listeners who belong to 1 million moms, I do apologize, but... Anyway.
It's my show, and I don't have a problem with
Okay, there you go. So I'm like, I gotta remember who my audience is. So,
but got a petition to Toys R Us. After they got a couple thousands of signatures, said, okay, we'll pull the toys, Breaking Bad toys off the shelf. And Aaron Paul got on Twitter just ripping them apart. Started his own petition to get them put back on the shelf, and they got like 3 times as many signatures as the original petition.
Paul.
Yeah. Like I wonder if I did that. Like I'd get like 6 people. Like y'all would be like, yeah, what Dan said, and that would be it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think Aaron Paul probably has more Twitter followers.
I think he does. I would hope so.
But I don't know which side I actually fall on the line here, though.
I think my opinion is that Toys R Us is stupid. Because they shouldn't have had them in the first place, being a children's store.
Yeah.
So you can't be surprised when some uppity mom is like, my child! Okay, that you should have seen that coming. So it's your fault for having it there in the first place. Then it's your fault for not standing behind the thing you put on your shelf. What did you think would happen?
Exactly. It's one of those things, like there are toys and collectibles that people make toys of everything now. People collect toys.
Right. And they call them miniatures
but
so that adults don't feel as lame.
I don't necessarily know if I'm going to let my son play with all of them because some of those miniatures are for adults, for collectors.
And that's the question. Is Toys R Us exclusively a child's store?
Yes.
Or is it a toy store?
The R is backwards.
Yeah.
It's a child store.
But then
that is the name of your episode. The R is backwards.
Let me write that down. But they sell all the video games, and they sell plenty of video games rated M, which no children should be even considered touching. But they sell those. They sell toys to adults. I've worked at Toys R Us for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
And I obviously, being someone who worked there, liked toys, liked collectibles. It was a great place to get collectibles. It's like, it's a big market for adults to come in and buy stuff. It's not just kids. Granted, it's supposed to be kid-friendly. And I'm kind of torn. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, it is. If Toys R Us wants to be, we are a kid store, then they should be a kid store. And I agree, they shouldn't be having these violent video games, these mature-rated games, in an area where kids, well, even if they aren't selling them to kids. But I don't know. I'm kind of torn.
Well, here's my question: what kid wants a Breaking Bad toy?
Seriously.
So, Toys R Us, if you want to carry them, well, that's one thing, because I guarantee you that 99% of children aren't going to say, I want a Breaking Bad toy. And at this point, crazy mom, you're really just drawing attention to something that your kid probably didn't even want. Doesn't even know what it is. And so, and if your 6-year-old wants a Breaking Bad, like, I want a Walter White toy, well, then, you should go home and rethink your life. I mean, seriously, you've got issues. So,
if you as Toys R Us want to be a store that sells collectibles for adults, then you don't pull the toy off the shelf the second some mom says you're offending me.
Yeah.
I agree. And I mean, I remember when I was working there was when the Spawn figures first hit the market. And I mean, those
Spawn.
Spawn. And those are great figures that McFarlane Toys made. I mean, he actually, I think, makes more money making action figures for everything else than he does with comics anymore. But, I mean, they were quality figures, and I know there were some people that are like, well, this is like satanic stuff. Why is this in my toy store? But that wasn't
Well, I imagine they probably have Game of Thrones toys.
They probably do.
And is that any more appropriate?
No, absolutely not appropriate. But again, what kid wants a Jaime Lannister toy?
I love how you picked Jamie as the one. I'm like, yeah.
Jaime and Cersei come as a set. What are you talking about? You know what? I'm not even going to continue that line of thinking because it's going to go to a really dark place.
The box would say twins with benefits.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's your episode. Oh, I don't want to know about the Kung Fu grip. Anyway, but that's my point. Like, I think I agree with you. Like, there are probably Game of Thrones miniatures out there, but if Grayson, my 9-month-old, at some point says, "I really want that," I'm like, you should never want that toy. You shouldn't know what it is. Like, you should watch your stupid little Batman kids show and want Arctic Batman that has a neon orange little missile that comes out of his back. That's what you want, and I'd be okay with that.
And just put those toys high on the shelves. I mean, believe me, every square inch is planned out in every store on what toy goes where.
I don't doubt it.
I mean, you put those high up where they're not even in the line of sight for the majority of kids unless parents are showing them the top shelf.
Yeah. So the way you do it is you have all your kids' toys, and then your Legos, which are sort of the in-between. Kids love them, adults love them, and then you phase into your adult stuff.
Yeah. And adult toys doesn't mean adult toy. It literally means...
See, that's why they can't call it that. They have to call it a new name.
But no, Legos gets their own corner of the store.
I know, because my husband always finds it.
Do you have Legos? Do you guys have Legos?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not allowed to have Legos. So.
Well, we don't have a small child that can choke on one.
I didn't have Legos before. It was just, Des got me a Lego Lex Luthor robot thing for Christmas last year. And Rana said to me, "That's going to look great on your desk at work." It does, but...
Meaning get it out of the house.
Exactly. I don't want to see it.
We don't have, Legos all over, but my husband's mom, because she knew how much Legos cost, never threw them away. So they just moved, and they were like, "Here's your 40,000 Legos from childhood that I'm sure you want." And my husband was like, "Of course I want it!" And I was like... I'm
going to put this, and we're going to build, and we're going to make a submarine, and it's going to be awesome.
Honestly, you guys were talking about making a Lego Dune movie, weren't you?
Oh my god, yeah. I forgot about that.
You should totally make a Lego Dune.
We need someone with computer skills.
I don't. I can do, if you got a script, I'll do one of your voices. Like, seriously, but I can't do the stop-motion computer stuff. So.
Oh...
Yeah, so anyone out there, stop-motion computer people, we're still collecting crew members for the Dune movie.
And probably extra Legos if you want to donate those.
Yeah, and script writers and actors.
And Lego Batman will have a featured role. And funding.
Funding.
Yeah. All right, Kickstarter, Dune. And we don't have the rights to Dune. So...
If you've ever wanted to see a Dune Lego movie, if your life is not complete until you see a Lego Dune movie, please write History of Bad Ideas, Caribbean.
So throw to Culture Babble.
Culture Babble.
CultureBabble@gmail.com.
There you go. Culture Babble. Go to culturebabble.com, read all their articles, and then...
Oh, anybody got anything else they want to throw in on the news?
No, traveling this week has completely messed me up.
Traveling is the worst for trying to stay on point.
Because I was like, all right, I got Monday and Tuesday, I can get some stuff up. No, Monday and Tuesday were gone. Like, I don't know what happened. And then by Wednesday, I worked half a day on Wednesday, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to the airport. I didn't bring anything to work, which was weird. I went to the airport. It's just like, I didn't even, the fact that I saw the Avengers trailer is...
Like a miracle?
Like a miracle. Yeah. Anyway. What else got? Anything?
Baseball is still happening, which shocked me.
Baseball should be happening. The World Series is the best time of the
season. Baseball should absolutely be happening.
Baseball should have ended a month ago.
Blasphemy.
Is there a reason the season has to be 7 months long?
Well,
yes, because it should be 12.
Oh my god.
Well, that's when somebody's in San Diego who can actually watch baseball.
There should always be baseball.
I would be amused to watch a baseball game in 3 feet of snow.
I really would. That would be hilarious.
I don't want to go to it. I want to watch it on TV.
Well, and it's really funny because
it happened in Colorado a couple times.
I get. I've got friends across the country like, oh, you live in California. You're like, yeah, maybe I do live in California. Maybe I do live in San Diego. But you know what? The last time we had a Super Bowl in San Diego, it was 84 degrees on the field at game time. Suck it. It was a beautiful. And you know what? It was one of those things where, so the Chargers, whatever. They've got they're still playing at Qualcomm Stadium, which is an older stadium. The Padres used to play there. I mean, it's an older stadium, and this is when Tagliabue was still the commissioner.
Okay.
And I know Tampa Bay. I don't remember what the other team was. It was years ago. It was before I met my wife, so I was dating my ex-girlfriend because I was living with her at the time. You don't need to know any of that.
There's a lot of backstory.
Go on. And he had said before the game, like a week before the game, I don't even know why we're playing in San Diego. You're never going to have another Super Bowl ever again. And it was like a thing.
Wow.
And it was the most beautiful day we have ever had in February in like a decade and a half. It was like 82 degrees. There was no clouds in the sky. It was almost like the universe was saying, you know what, NFL? Suck it.
I don't know what was the reason for him to say that. I mean, were there problems?
Oh my God. Okay, so a little bit of background about San Diego politics and the ridiculousness of the city that I live in. San Diego has got nothing but backroom deals. All backroom deals. It used to be the hotel owners. They would all get together in the back room somewhere. They would make up what they wanted to have happen, and then they'd tell the mayor, and then it would happen. That's sort of gone away as there's been more corporatization of hotels, and so now it's really sort of just become this elite. And some of them are hotel owners still, but some of them are like the sports owners. And one of the main people in San Diego politics is the Spanos family, who owns the Chargers, and who wants the city to build him a new stadium. So,
you can ask Cincinnati how that goes.
And the city is very much like, we can go to the beach. We don't necessarily need a new... you guys are totally fine. So what ended up happening, the Spanos went to the city turned around and put it to the voters. The voters, just kind of like, what do you want? The voters were like, no. So then the NFL got involved in the city and the Spanos went to the NFL, and the NFL got involved, and they're like, no, you don't get a Super Bowl anymore. Sorry. You're not going to build these guys a new stadium, you get nothing. And we're like, go to the beach.
We can't go to the beach if we didn't want our new stadium.
Yeah. I guarantee you that...
The voters voted yes.
No, the voters are dumb.
I mean, we got the new stadium. It's a beautiful stadium.
Well, and now they're trying to hike up taxes even further.
Well, that's the problem it's like our voters are like, we'll give them a stadium. We agree that the old one really isn't suitable for where
but you guys vote. The city voted and said yes, right?
They voted and said yes.
Okay.
The county, yeah. And then they went and negotiated. And the county lawyers must be the stupidest lawyers on the face of the earth. The Bengals lawyers showed up with a contract, and they threw everything they could think in to say, they'll negotiate stuff out.
So taxes have to go up for maintenance and things like that. So, taxes are just going up exponentially in order to pay for the
county lawyers didn't negotiate, did they?
The county, they said, okay. The voters said yes, so they just signed off on it. I mean, they had to, Mike Brown gets, all the parking, and...
So, we get no revenue from parking at the stadium.
And he gets all the revenue for this. They had to throw in a laser-etched marble table for their conference room that the city or the county had to pay for. And I'm like, no, we agreed to give them a place where they could play. We didn't agree to give them all the money
all of this. Yeah.
I mean, we were supposed to get parking and concessions to help alleviate it, not give it all to him.
In a city like Cincinnati, having a newer football stadium or a football stadium is good. I mean, because... you're not LA, you're not New York. I'm not saying that Cincinnati's a bad city.
We don't have stuff going on?
I'm not saying it's a bad city.
Stuff going on, Dan.
But if the Chargers went 4-8 or 16-week season, 4-12, there would be nobody at that stadium because nobody cares. If the Bengals go 4-12, I have a feeling you guys still would have a pretty good...
We sold out our stadium for 8 losing years in a row.
See, exactly. Missing a game. Cincinnati's a sports...
Then we stopped selling out the stadium.
I think my point is that Cincinnati's a sports town. And having a stadium is a good thing. But then when and the voters, yes, but then as soon as, here's your marble-etched table, I could see why you guys would get upset.
Yeah.
Because, we have to pay for this? You're getting all the revenue? Well, fuck you. So,
hey, they put in a small drama workshop in the old bowling alley by my house. So if you think nothing's going on in Cincinnati, sir.
I work with a guy from Cleveland who's originally from Cleveland, and I was telling him I was coming out here, and he's like, I really think you'd like Cleveland. There's a few theaters out there, and there's some good restaurants, and I'm like, It's a major city. I feel like there's things going on in that.
There should be. And I hope there's some sort of theater and some sort of restaurant.
Yeah, and I feel like in Cincinnati, there's probably stuff going on. It's not like, well, we just gotta hang out on a board and watch football and Reds games. But I'm saying it's a sports town. It's overall a sports town.
Like you said, they replaced a bowling alley with a theater workshop.
I know.
That kind of is a surprise.
In Cheviot.
Yeah, I know.
Now you guys gotta do Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh yeah, maybe they will. I don't know. I need to go there. It seems kind of cool.
Shakespeare is great. It's royalty free and it's got a big cast. So, because you want money, that's what you do.
Mix of girls and guys.
And you can do anything with it.
Yeah.
No, the guys have to follow the girls' rules. Same as Shakespeare time.
You can have them make,
that was the problem we always had. I was president of the Harrison High School Drama Club.
Yeah, you were. That's awesome.
And our biggest issue was finding shows that had enough female parts, because we had way more girls than guys
Always do.
in our club.
Always do. That was one of the greatest thing about in high school being a straight guy in theater.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because you've already got, there's already half the guys are gay. So there's already half of them. Right. It's the best thing ever. Yeah. Greatest thing ever.
So did you act in high school, or were you
stage manage? Light design, stage management.
Yeah.
And I did some acting, but then I ultimately moved into directing, which I like a lot more because it's just so much fun. It's so much fun to direct.
And it's like, haha, puppets.
It's so much fun to direct. But I mean, it's like cool. I got to do fun things. Like when we did the Rocky Horror Show. The girl who played Magenta was, she had this whole. She's like, I don't understand why I'm even here. Like, I don't get... Because she didn't really know Rocky Horror at all. She hadn't seen the movie. I'm like, how do you get to be 20-something years old and not seeing the Rocky Horror Picture Show? Go watch it once. Watch the movie once.
We have a theater that shows it at midnight every Saturday, like a little independent theater, and I've always wanted to go, and I just haven't.
Just once. It's an awful movie.
Okay.
The movie's terrible. The play is so much better, but she's talking about she doesn't know why she's there. She doesn't understand the Magenta character, and... without missing a beat, as I'm giving notes, I'm like, you can talk to the computer. And I moved on with life, and people in the cast who had seen Galaxy Quest, and this was like the third rehearsal, just like, oh my God, that was hilarious. And like, my job I get to gel these people together, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah, we didn't have theater department in high school.
Were you Coleraine?
No, I went to Elder.
Oh.
I was the president of the East Lake High School Drama Club, so...
Yeah?
Bring it in, yep.
Yeah, I went to the all-male Catholic school where, we didn't... The only...
So you really were doing the men playing the women's roles if you were going to have Shakespeare?
The girls' school was right next door.
Ah, okay.
So when they did do something, it was an Elder Seton.
Did you guys have, like co-school dances kind of thing?
No.
They do now.
Do they?
Yeah.
Wow.
My cousins go there.
Well, they didn't when I was there, but I also didn't go to any school dances, so I don't know. But
fair enough.
But yeah, the only thing they really did in the theater was all musicals. So if you couldn't sing, you weren't even there. They pretty much told. I don't think they had tryouts. They just told the people in the Glee Club, "Oh, you'll be this style, you'll be that role, you'll be that role." And if you're not in the Glee Club, you're not going to do anything in the theater. So
yeah, I'm actually currently working with a vocal ensemble. So if you're in the San Diego area, the third week of November 22nd, Encore Vocal Ensemble at the San Diego JCC is doing Encore Rocks. Plug. They do these choir shows twice a year, and they've started to increase their production value, and it's becoming more and more like a Broadway show. Like a script is being written, and where the songs there's an order to them for a reason, and the shows are bigger and more lights and more sound. And I find it hilarious that these are singers, these aren't actors. So I go in there to do the acting stuff for the script, and then I help kind of with the movement and trying to help people what they're doing. And it's amazing to me that someone will choose a song, or they'll be given a song, and they'll sing it. I have no idea what it's about. And I'm like, okay, what is this song about? I don't know. I'm like, okay, this is Guys and Dolls. This whole song is a chase. Here's the reason why you're pissed off, and here's the reason why you're begging her to stay. And okay, now approach it. That's the only problem with having a Glee Club or a vocal ensemble. Here's your song. Well, what are you singing about? So, anyway. That was my Dan Does Drama soapbox. So
we never did bother to do a top 5. So
I was thinking about it. I'm like, top 5 places to vacation because I'm kind of on vacation. But I'm like,
Top 5 places you did vacation. As I've mentioned in a previous episode, Toledo, Ohio.
Yay! Our last trip to Vegas was awful, but I really like going to Las Vegas because for us it's quick. So it's a.
Wait, so the Musings trip you guys took was awful?
We lost.
They lost a lot of money.
Everywhere. Okay. I don't think we covered this. Oh my god, this is the best thing ever.
You mentioned something about you lost.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so we stay usually. Des found this hotel, and then we wrote Billy into it. This is years ago. We used to stay. We're not going to stay there anymore, but we used to stay at the El Cortez Hotel. The reason why is there is a variant of blackjack called double attack blackjack. I'm not going to get into the rules, but they had 2 tables in the country. One of them was, I think, New Orleans or one of the barge, because maybe Detroit, somewhere on a riverboat, somewhere. And the El Cortez Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it was this great table, and we always won. And even if we lost, somebody was winning. It was a fun game. We had such a great time playing it. We do our podcast. I hope you guys listen. We did our podcast. We're all excited. Everybody's drinking. We go downstairs. They've gotten rid of the double attack table.
Oh.
William is a math genius. So William has spent the entire last 2 days before we go memorizing the data of how you play. And we're in the elevator, and he's going downstairs. He's like, okay, 27944657334. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, this is all the double attack stuff. We get downstairs, no double attack. So now he's lost. Completely lost. So we sit down, play single deck blackjack, and we're not losing a lot, but we're starting to lose. And it's like he can't handle it. Yeah. So instead of getting mad at me or the dealer, he's just getting mad at the felt on the table, he's like, fuck this chip. He's getting really, his drink is first doesn't have enough alcohol, then it has too much alcohol. He's getting really abusive. I switched to beer. Drinking Corona. Des and William are drinking hard alcohol, rum and cokes, whatever. We're going drink for drink, but I'm drinking Corona.
Right.
So we get to about 9 o'clock, and I am with 2 blitzed idiots. And Des is like, this is what it feels like every week when you and him are drunk and I'm the sober one. I'm like, this sucks! So we get back to the hotel, and William's like, I need food. So we end up at Applebee's. I end up taking his car, driving around Las Vegas, trying to find something that he'll eat. So we end up at Applebee's.
And that's something he will eat?
Well, yeah. Will's a very picky eater. We end up at Applebee's, and then the rest of the trip, every table we sat down on, we all lost. And so by the end of it, we were at, and usually we'll go to a $5, because we stay downtown, so the table's a little cheaper. It's a $5 table, and we'll put down $100, and we'll be there for a couple hours, and somebody is winning, and we feel really good. We got, I think, on Saturday night, toward the end of the night, we were sitting at the Fremont Hotel. We found a $3 table, and I think at the most any of us put up at once was $60, because we were just so, just disheartened.
Yeah.
Vegas destroyed us. The only time we won was we played some roulette. That was about it.
I love roulette.
That was about it. But, oh my god, it was... Oh my god. So, it was rough. But it was fun. It was rough.
Well, that sounds like all gambling I do. I don't like gambling. I don't enjoy
Really?
it. Never had. Hit maybe 3 casinos in my life and lost everything I walked in with within 15 minutes. And I'm like, I don't understand why people like this.
Fair enough.
I've been to a casino twice. The first one, my brother, drunk off his ass. I walk up to a roulette table with $50, and he goes, put it all on 18. And I was like, no. And he was like, put it all on 18. So I put $5 on 18, and it hit.
Oh my god.
And he was like, you should have put it all.
That's 32 to 1. Oh.
It was still a good win.
It's $160 some odd dollars. Yeah.
So I was still very excited, but so we were mostly playing reds and blacks, not the numbers, and he was like, put it on, and I did.
Yeah, we were getting to a point because my dad was a big roulette player, and we happened to be in Vegas on the day that my father passed away, so I'm like, I'm going to play roulette for Dad. And Des actually came downstairs with me, and he was like, all right, I'll wait, because William was passed out upstairs. This was on Saturday morning, and I was playing my dad's number, and I hit 3 times in a row. As randomly that can happen. And I'm only putting $1 on there, but I'm raking in, I ended up with a lot more money. And so after about half the day, and we just got killed in every casino, finally Des is like, do you want to go back and play roulette? And William is like, fine, little ball, I don't care. And, I'm like, look, if we lose, we're going to lose a lot slower. Let's just go. And we ended up having this very foul-mouthed dealer, croupier, whatever you call her, who just was merciless to William. It was great. He realized how he was being, and he was being mean back to her. And we just had a really good time playing roulette. We were playing like 14th. Like, people were putting on the numbers or splitting, or some guy would walk over, throw money on the table, and walk away and pace. It was this weird, it was bizarre.
Oh, so who gets the money when somebody walks away?
Oh, we just put it to his little stack that was over there, and then he'd come back up. He's like, "Oh, I won!"
Oh, okay.
Walk away.
Oh, he's doing it at every table.
I'm like, this is just the craziest. You don't get.
Neither of scored yet.
We're playing.
No, I'm like, it's not Sunday. What's going on?
No, it's Saturday.
I'm playing Jeff this week.
Yes.
Oh,
I wasn't sure if I had anyone play Thursday.
Yeah, I got one league where I'm in like 4 different leagues here, so I'm keeping track of them. A little confused. I got one league where like half the people go on Thursday. And I couldn't remember if it was this one. No, we haven't scored yet, so we're still fresh.
Get ready to lose, my friend.
I would start talking trash, but the only person I seem to beat is Dan.
I've lost to Dez and I've lost to you. All I needed was for both of those players to put up their average, and I would have won.
Yes, I thought...
I'm like, I've got this. Damn it!
I thought you did, too.
But now this week I'm playing 40 going on 14, so...
I got to look at that, because they got...
We both had the Thursday night game. We both had quarterbacks in the Thursday night game, so it was Manning Rivers, and I'm like, son of a...
Which one are you?
Manning.
I had Rivers this week. Chargers Broncos.
That's all Manning got was 29.
Yeah, I ended up being okay.
Not too bad.
I ended up being okay. I was so annoyed that you beat me. I was so annoyed.
Yeah, because you guys are supposed to record on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Because a couple of weeks ago, I heard you mention something. You're like, oh man, and Andre Johnson, don't drop the ball, and like Des admonished you. It's like nobody cares about your football team. Blah, blah, blah.
I know.
And I'm like, I do, because that was the same game when I had Andrew Luck
and Luck put up
and YA.
Oh my God, they put up 60 points between them on two players on one night. I'm like, oh.
I'm like, all right. It's like, oh well, your guy did it all right, but my guys did great.
A buddy of mine actually has that same combination, and we that week we went to their house on Saturday night for pizza, and he was like, hey, guess what I did? I'm like, yeah, the guy I'm playing at, I was so annoyed, but yeah, I've got 40 going on 14 this week, so.
Right. Yeah.
Is it, and it's you two this week?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Stuff, and I want to trash talk, but yeah, I can't. I mean, what do I have? 2 wins? I don't even remember. I beat Dan, and I beat Bob.
See, I was looking hot, and
I got 3
now
wins.
I'm 3.
So 5-2. I don't know how that happened.
I'm 3-4.
I don't know how I got to be 5-2. William's coming back. Just Will coming back. So.
Yeah. And then I lost to Des last week. I thought, all right, my team's getting ready. I got Dan. We'll get Des. And they
I'm going to take out all of Musings of a Geek.
It wasn't even close. I mean, they didn't show up for me last week.
Well, Sean from Pittsburgh Nerdbot had that happen one week where his team just didn't show up. No,
he beat me because it was one of those where it was coming down to like Monday night. Both of us had our coaches on bye.
Yeah.
And neither of us bothered to replace them. I'm like, okay.
Right.
So I'm like, if I'm like within 10 points, I can cut my bye coach, pick up the guy playing on Monday night.
Yeah.
And
at least get something.
Maybe try to win.
Yeah.
It wasn't within 10 points, so I didn't do it. And then I noticed Will did it. And then I'm like, but Will didn't even play him. I'm like, Will did it to stop, because he was within 10 points with Ryan and Greenup.
He's amazing. That guy. He's running our friend Jeff's league. Jeff knows less than I do about football, and Jeff wins his work fantasy football every year because William does it for him. And I don't know how they haven't caught on yet. Like, trades are done while they're all in meetings. Like, anyway.
Oh, I think you're getting near an end.
All right.
Do you have a bad idea?
Well, the bad idea number, we'll say 69, is don't get mono.
Don't get mono.
Make a podcast.
Yeah, we have plans.
Do you know who gets mono? 16-year-old girls.
Yeah.
Because they're kissing 16-year-old boys. And Jason, I hope you're not kissing 16-year-old boys. So.
Oh, God.
Or 16-year-old girls.
Or
for that
16.
matter.
Don't kiss 16-year-olds. But, like, don't get mono.
Yeah. Gross.
So.
But I mean, all the diseases you should have gotten in your life, Jason, this is the one you get. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right. Well, I suppose we can end this. So that's another episode, and Roger says goodbye.
You are now leaving the world of Musings of a Geek podcast network. Stay geeky, my friends.